from? Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep 'em flowing. Where do you come from? Where you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep 'em flowing.
Hey, what's going on? We are here with the Super PlayStation Bros. I am Rudigs, joined as always by the co-host Leveling It Up, Doragon. What's been going on? How's it going?
Oh, it's been wonderful, mate. It's been a lovely week and a half because we're a little bit later this week than we normally are, which is fine. I've enjoyed the extra time off. It's given some news, some time to grow and appear for us, which is always a plus point. But otherwise, yeah, I've just been sort of existing. I've thrown my elbow out in VR.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I've got a bit of RSI. I've overextended it because it bends too far one way, so I've properly overextended my elbow, and I've not been able to do much of anything for the past week. So yeah, I've not been playing a lot of anything, I am sorry to say, but hey, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm still upright. That's the main thing, right?
Exactly. Well, I'm glad to see that you're still upright and you're able to talk. I know there is a lot happening in PlayStation, so even if you didn't play this week, I know you have lots to talk about. I myself have been deep diving into PlayStation as always. Just launching into Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's a remake.
Remake?
Now,
It's very much a remake. You would know if it was a remaster. The
right,
blocks on screen.
exactly. The game is like no other remake I've seen before, completely overhauling every mechanic. I think it's part of gaming legacy, almost gaming history, to play a game as Cloud and have that epic sword, because so much
Yeah.
part of gaming history is seeing Cloud with that huge sword. So getting to know his background, enjoying that story. Everybody wants to sleep with Cloud. It's ridiculous. And
Have you seen the man? I mean,
yeah,
come
but
on.
to put that into the story writing is just I don't know. It's like, oh, I want to sleep with you. I want to sleep, and he's like, nah,
Look.
I'm too busy. I'm an ex-soldier, and I got flashbacks with a big sword that I can perfectly hold with one hand.
Most of them are teenagers or early 20s. I remember how we were as teenagers and early 20s. It's like it's a lot of what you think about. It makes sense. Like it makes a lot of sense.
Well, let's say what up to the chat. Thanks everyone for coming on by. We got Ray, the gaming cyborg, Simply Pwned Gaming, PS6 by 2026. Perhaps. I think they announced it in 2028, I believe, is when we will see it. That's my best
green
guess.
side of the fence that said that one in some leaked documentation. So I would expect things to be similar either side, but we'll see. They can go shorter, they can go longer. It all depends on how things are going. And let's not forget, we sort of lost 2 years to COVID, so maybe push that out a couple extra years.
Yes, don't forget to support the podcast. There are 3 ways to do it for free. Subscribe to the channel, share the podcast on your social media, and hit that like button to promote the content. We are live, so if you're catching the VOD, be sure to catch the social medias, but typically we are Monday, 10 a.m. What's going on at Mountain Gaming? Coming straight from the mountains, sir. And then we got Raven Anime Pika Pika with Miss Phoenix. Let's go. Hopefully you're doing well. Playing that PlayStation. And then we got Lily Knights Gaming. Hello, everyone. Thanks for
Hello,
stopping on
Lily.
by. And then what's that? A message from space. It's the good doctor. What's going on, Dr. Spaceman? Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, that doctor, not the ooh wee ooh.
The British doctor, space traveling doctor.
Yeah. Not that was the one I was thinking. Not this one. It's a bit too Canadian for us, and his box isn't bigger on the inside. And I'm saying words that should not be said online. I'm going to shut up now.
Well, let's jump into the big news of the week. What we want to talk about. Let me pull this up on the screen and take away the state of play because I like the state of play. That is
good background, isn't it? Yeah.
the new look for the PS5 console this holiday season. That's right. Christmas came early and it lost some weight and is now what, 30% smaller? And
it went through the rom-com transformation, didn't it? Lost some weight, put on some makeup.
A little, yeah.
For the main leading man.
A little bit of a montage over the past 3 years. Except now it doesn't. I get that they're advertising. It looks cool standing up, but this is not how it comes. It comes laying down.
It doesn't come that. There are
vertical stands sold separately.
Yeah, my knee-jerk reaction is yes and no. It's like, one, it's the ugliest thing you've released this year, PlayStation, and you have released some very ugly things this year.
You don't like the look? We are different. We are different on this opinion.
Zoom in on that disk drive. Just zoom in on that disk drive.
There's nothing wrong with having an extra drive. You know, getting an extra slot on the side.
Removable drive. You're right. There's nothing wrong with that. When it looks like a tumor on the side of your console, there's a problem with it.
It's sleek. It's sleek. It's nice.
It's like sleek. It's the digital one. Yeah, it's a nice, like, sleek curve. Like
a little junk in the trunk, you know?
But then
apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
It's just like you come down the side and then you're kicked off this violent vert ramp. Your skateboard goes one way, you go the other way, and you just grind along the floor on your face. That's what it looks like. It is so ugly. It's some bad growth.
All right. Well, we are different on opinions here. I think it looks really nice. I've always been a fan of the PlayStation. Plus, if you probably get some D brand plates, they'll be coming out with some stuff soon. And I know that you're big on the disk drive, but some of us, I know I'm guilty. I give up all my consumer rights. I understand, but I don't want to.
About that.
I don't want to store anything digital, or I don't want to store any discs or anything. It gets scratches, so digital all the way for me. And plus, I don't have to leave my house. I know I could just get it delivered, but
I was going to say, there's these things called couriers and deliveries. It's like, that's how my food comes to my house at the moment. I'm pretty sure you could get a game that way.
I give up my rights for convenience.
I don't, and I've actually got... It's been reinforced in the last 3 weeks with PlayStation. I bought Broken Edge, which is one of the VR titles we've looked at in a past episode. It's a 1v1 sort of For Honor type battle game in VR. It's a room scale game, and PSVR 2 titles, you can only get them digitally. There's no way to buy them physically. So your consumer rights are balked from the word go. But I bought this game and then it didn't work at all. I turned it on. I couldn't even get to the menu because it said that I didn't have the 2x2 meters available that is needed to play this game. I have got 2.5 by 3 meters available to me. I have measured this out with a tape measure. I've sent these details off to PlayStation. 3 weeks later, they are still trying to say that I am not using the PlayStation or the VR2 correctly, and that is why the game isn't working. They are trying everything in their power to not give me a refund for that game. If I
That's
bought
unfortunate.
if I bought that physically, and the game
Yeah.
didn't work, because that's my problem. The game just doesn't work. It's not a case of I don't like it and I want to return it. That I could understand the position on a little bit more. The game is just straight up broken and doesn't work. And
Right.
they are not offering a refund because I've installed. Before playing it, if you just install a game, so if you buy a game from the PlayStation Store and install it, that's it. You cannot get a refund if it doesn't work. If it's not to your liking, you've got no 14-day returns, no 30-day returns, depending where in the world you are. The moment you have installed it, that's it. You're done. So I've got a broken game that I can't play, that is sitting there wasting my money doing absolutely nothing, taking up hard drive space because I'm not going to delete it until I've got the refund or anything. And all I've got is customer service saying, "Oh no, but you've installed it. You've installed it. Have you turned the PlayStation off and on again?" Or like, this is not the IT crowd. This is not the IT crowd on Channel 4. This is somebody who works in big tech, who understands how all of this works, who's gone through all of the trouble finding and troubleshooting things on your website before coming to you, who's still not able to get it work. This is why, for me, that disk drive must always be there. And all of my game purchases are still physical just to protect my consumer rights. And that's just been reinforced in the past 3 weeks with this scenario.
It's funny, and I understand. I understand why you would want all the rights, and I agree with you. But looking at the chat, Miss Phoenix being from the UK and Spaceman being from Canada, it's funny how the Canadian side is, yeah, we're fine, 100% digital. Let's do it. And then Phoenix is like, no, let's protect our consumer rights. It's maybe the mentality of, the country, the origin, the culture, the society. But I don't know. It's me and Spaceman are
Culture will
thinking
be
the same
part of
way.
it. Yeah, culture will
And
definitely be part of it. I think the other part is going to be what you're used to, what rights you have. Like there's, I've had comments on certain videos saying, "Oh, just it was on my PSVR 2. Just buy it, and if you don't like it, return it." And as one person commented to them, it's like, if I buy something in this country, that's it. I can't return it. I don't have consumer rights like that. So yeah, it does. It does sort of depend where you're from, but my experiences are also saying stick with physical just to protect your rights, because otherwise they are stolen at will by corporation.
yeah, I understand, and I wish you the best of luck on getting to some sort of resolution with PlayStation and this
We'll
sword
keep you
game,
apprised on this show, yeah.
coincidentally called Broken Edge, right?
Coincidentally, yes. Like
Yeah.
that is the most apt name for a game I've ever come across. It is broken.
Hey Baker, hope you're doing well. Best of luck on the interviews today. And what's going on with Pika? Sorry. Why did you get timed out? Sorry about that. That was the AI. The AI does not
Get timed, Pika. Get time. I'm sorry if you keep seeing me look off. I've got the chat over here, so I have to look this way to see what you guys are saying.
No worries. Okay, so let's talk about this slim model. Okay, so
Okay.
it comes with 1 terabyte storage, which the
Okay.
original PlayStation model comes with minus all of the system software, to
So
my knowledge.
the original one came with an, I think it was like 825 or 845 gigabyte hard drive, SSD, which was specifically done because of the speed that they could get with this completely proprietary SSD. Less than 3 years later, we're getting a terabyte. Um, I'm
It's
questioning the marketing on the original console here. It's great for anybody jumping in now. Anybody jumping in now, buying a PlayStation now, that 1 terabyte, huge step up. It's that those extra sort of 200 gig, because you do lose a bit with, as you say, the system memory and what have you on there as well. But
right.
that extra 200 gig, that's another 1 or 2 games before you have to look at maybe deleting something, moving it to an external drive, an external M.2 drive, whatever the case may be. So yeah, it's annoying for those of us who jumped in at the start believing what they said, that this is the way you get those speeds. It's got to be this size of SSD, but you can have additional storage as long as it's running at certain speeds. But at the same time, I'm not going to
Oh,
argue with
okay.
people getting more storage. Like,
Yeah.
these games coming out are ridiculous at the moment. Like 150 gig for a base game, and then you've got all of the add-ons that come with
Oh,
it. I think having
that
more
Call of Duty
storage,
beta.
yeah, like that was ridiculous. That's a beta, and it was monstrous. So yeah, any form of additional storage is great for the player, but it does heavily call into question what they've said in marketing previously.
Wow. I didn't realize that at launch they were saying, "Oh, it's got to be 820 to triangulate the PlayStation 5 trajectory lasers to make Spider-Man spin his webs." So,
Yeah,
well, it
that was
is what it
essentially
is, and
it.
maybe technology has evolved since then, or,
It's
they're
just
hoping
PCIe
marketing
4.
just moves
It's just
PCIe
PCIe
for.
4. Like PCs do the same speeds. That's why you can buy M.2s that do that speed and can go into that additional expansion slot on a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, because I have a
It's
2T.
Yeah, exactly. So we know it works. We know it happens.
Right.
It's just a case of they had to justify why they were giving you a smaller one on the base console when the competitor was coming out with a terabyte, and now that's not looking great to those who bought in at the start. It's not a bad thing per se. It's just an annoying thing.
Yeah, I understand. Um, my concern is that marketing can be tricky. But hey, we're here to roll with the punches, let you know what's what, and tell you what's happening. So it has lost 30% of its weight, or sorry, 30% of its volume. Weight
Yes,
is down by 18%. So pretty
but it's going to
cool.
be smaller in
Lighter.
every dimension. Yeah,
Yeah. My
the
worry
big
is
one.
heat. Hopefully they're able to dissipate heat because smaller kind of scares me. Things are closer together. They're gonna get hotter quicker. But I'm sure the genius engineers at PlayStation have been able to work around that.
I
And
imagine
we're
so. But the big thing for me is the processor in this one, because this is what we looked at a couple of months back when it leaked. We had a hands-on of this exact console, this exact look thing. And one of the leaks there, which has been proven true, is the new processor in the device. It is working on a smaller nanometer process than the base launch PlayStation 5. Now, that can be used one of two ways. Anybody who knows a little bit about computing knows that you get one of the memory cards, like you get your i7, i9 if you're building a computer, for example, your A17 in an iPhone, or your Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 in an Android device. And it's got a bunch of pins on it that stick in and do magic, which makes your PC work. When you go to a smaller nanometer process, you can get more of those pins on that same size chip. What that means is you can either push that chip further and gain more performance out of it, or you can take the same performance but make things more efficient because it's got more lanes to run through. What we're seeing with this particular device is a smaller nanometer process than on the launch PlayStation 5, but it's not giving any additional power. It's being used for efficiency. So right now, if I turn the PlayStation 5 on and just leave it on the home page here in the UK, it will cost me 50 pence to run that for an hour. Just leaving it on the homepage, not even playing a game, not getting it winding up and doing some crazy stuff in something like Final Fantasy 16. With a smaller
yeah.
nanometer processor, what that means is that cost to the end user, that cost to the consumer in energy usage is going to be smaller because it's going to be more efficient in that energy usage. So we should see lower energy costs for using this new processor in this device. It might be 5 pence an hour, it might be 10 pence an hour. We don't rightly know because no one's got it in hand yet. No one's been able to test it, but we should see energy saving on this new device. But that's around about the only thing that's different outside of the big headline articles like a bigger SSD, different shape, different plates, and that detachable disk drive.
What up, Bulls for life? Thanks for stopping on by. Hope you're doing well, good sir. Rouster! What's up, what's up? Good day to you, good sir.
It's good having everybody here.
And we have Sam Wagaman. Heyo.
Sam, hey, Sam, welcome in. It's nice to see you
Oh,
on this side of things. She's from the cozy community, that our vet who we hang around with on occasion.
oh, Sam. Is she the one who's always shouting everyone out when they come into Vet's
She
chat?
is a wonderful mod over that side of things. She is a
Oh,
beautiful
thank you,
person,
thank you.
and we should definitely tip the hat.
Oh, This is the Dorgon with the name at the bottom. But yes, they're both British.
Who's asking what here? What we go?
You can read the chat there as I discuss what's happening. Yeah, so we have also an Ultra HD Blu-ray disc. Now, this one I had questions about. It shows it only being 1080p. Am I is that the exact same thing we're getting on the PlayStation 5 right now as well? Is a 1080p Blu-ray disc?
So a Blu-ray disc is only 1080p. It doesn't matter what device you put it in, the device can do more than that. If you have a Blu-ray disc with a video upon it, you're going to get 1080p output because that is what the video is saved at on that disc. If you want that 4K
Interesting.
output, you need to buy a UHD Blu-ray. They are slightly thicker
Oh.
and they hold a lot more data, and that is how you are getting that beautiful 4K movie, super duper surround sound or Dolby Digital, everything. It's very much a case of it depends on the media you buy, but the PlayStation 5 is capable of 4K Blu-ray play, as will the new one be, and it's a case of like those devices. If you buy a 4K Blu-ray player, they are £600-700 on their own. They cost more than a PlayStation 5 with disc drive. So
Wow.
buy the PlayStation 5, run your 4K Blu-rays through that, and then you've got a gaming system as well off the back of it.
Okay, well, that was a question I definitely had on this guy. And also, it doesn't look that bad. Look at this. This just looks fine.
It's so ugly, man. It is
I don't
so
get why
ugly.
people are. I like it. It looks like a wave. It's cool.
Why has it been chopped in two and then stuck back together with sticky tape? Like, come on. What was wrong with the nice single plates up the side?
What now? Here's the controversial part of it. This model, if anyone wants to know, is coming with a horizontal only stand. Now, we're going to call this stand gate because people are up in arms. First of all, every time they advertise the PS5, they put it on standing up looking at you. And I get it. It looks nice that way.
Advertisement at the top. That is
Yeah.
upright. Mine is stored upright. It's upright on the box. It's like every time you see the PlayStation 5 in any marketing material, it is upright. Look at it on the Portal marketing. Look at it on the PSVR 2 marketing. Look at it on the PlayStation 5 marketing. This console
Phoenix
is
is right.
upright.
Phoenix is right.
Yep.
Is the stand $5 a month? $5 a month for 6 months, right?
Yeah, it's what, 35 US dollars or something like that. I don't know what the UK price is. But
I store my PlayStation 5 and play it horizontally because that's how I feel it's supposed to run. That's what I was told. It runs best horizontally, and I feel like it dissipates heat best that way out the bottom. So I have no problem with this. I'm going to put it horizontally regardless. But I just feel like they shouldn't advertise it so hard being vertical and not include the vertical stand.
yeah, it feels like false advertising, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, here's your PlayStation. It can stand upright. Oh, but you need to buy an additional $30 stand. Sucks to be you. I mean, the thing is, you can just stand the current PlayStation 5 upright without a stand, and it'll work absolutely perfectly. There's like two vents on the bottom, and they're really small. It doesn't matter blocking those up. But I don't know what the design is of this new one. And if you look at that foot that they've got for it, if you look at that stand, it is the oddest, weirdest shape going. Like, they've obviously changed the bottom design of it. So whether you can stand that console up without a stand is another big question. But if you can, that might be why they're not including it, because you don't need it per se.
Oh, wow. That's a cool point, Rouster. People could 3D print their own ones very easily.
They could. Look how many cool docks are made for the Nintendo Switch on places like Etsy and Co. They could be creating a whole new market here for awesome base stands for the new PlayStation.
It would be cool if it was like a circle with an X and a triangle. I don't know. But anyways, what is upsetting is that the original PS5 came with a stand that was both vertical and horizontal.
Yeah,
and now what we're getting is kind of less. But my one rationale for all of this is they're going to try to make the base model of the PS5 as cheap as possible, and maybe including a horizontal stand is the best way to do that. Or let's just nickel and dime everybody with accessories, and that's how we get this.
I think it's more the latter. If you look at what their ethos has been this year from PlayStation, we haven't had a single first party release yet. That's coming next week. And we have had 5 or 6 different hardware releases and accessory releases this year. So they are trying to nickel and dime people with accessories and hardware at the moment. And that stand is just another
Oh,
example thereof.
oh my gosh. And then SPG saying that we're going to get a new PS6 in a couple years. Did I buy my controller to last like 3 years? Is that it? And then we're going to get PS6? I just hope
I
like we don't go
doubt we're
this
seeing it in
generation.
2026. I doubt we're seeing it that soon, just because we've still got the PlayStation 4 getting brand new releases now. Until we have
We
gone
yeah.
5 years with just this generation of releases, we're not going to start hearing about next generation. We shouldn't hear about next generation because we've only just got to a point where people can go out and buy one of these things.
Yeah. I need more first parties. But let's get on to some other news.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's stop complaining. Yeah, let's go to something
Unless
brighter.
you want to say anything else. I mean, other than that, all these stats, if I'm not mistaken, are what you're seeing on your PS5 right now.
Yes, they are identical to the PlayStation 5 that you currently own, identical to the PlayStation 5 that I currently own, that Miss Phoenix currently owns, that anybody else who's got one in chat currently owns. These stats are identical except for that nanometer processor giving you a slightly more efficient and less power hungry console.
And coming in at, oh my God, PS5 console covers will start. Oh, those are the covers. So they're getting new covers. I'm like, the stand, right, is costing $29.99, $30. But the console itself with HD Ultra Ray Blue Disc, 500. But if you just want the digital base, it's 450 USD. And
Welcome to paying the same as the rest of the world, America. It's about time you caught up with the price rise we had last year.
oh wow. Yeah, well, very similar. Well, actually, it looks like it's more expensive in euros. That's
No,
odd.
that's the same price as it is currently. So the euro price and the Great British Pound price is exactly the same as we currently pay. That is the problem we're facing. We're paying more than America are for the
Yeah.
PlayStation 5 console right now. And we get this stupid conversion tax for some reason. So, like for the Portal that's coming out next month, as an example, that is 200 US dollars, but it's also 200 Great British Pounds. 200 US dollars converted to pounds via the currency exchange is 168 pounds. So out of nowhere, we've got a £30 like additional tax on this device for no reason whatsoever. And it's even worse if you go over to Europe and do it in the euro. They're getting really screwed because it's up at 229 euros over there, and we're basically pound for euro at the moment. So yeah, the
Wow.
rest of the world is getting absolutely gypped, and seeing the US
Yeah.
now have to pay the same as the rest of us and hearing them complain about it's very much a case from everybody else. Suck it up. We've had to suffer it for over a year.
Also, shout out to Canada. Let's put some Canadian prices on here. Come on. What the hell?
You're
You
their
put
closest neighbor.
Europe,
There should be some on
you
there,
put
yeah.
Europe and you put UK, but you don't put
Europe is 27 countries. I can
yeah.
understand that one.
But
You're only one.
you should just put the euro for the Europe and
I,
UK anyways.
oh, don't you do that. This is almost as bad as your all white people look the same thing last week.
Okay, Kevin Butler and Jim Ryan look the same. I still stand on that hill. I still stand on that hill. They look very similar. I did not realize that they were not the same person, but it would have been an excellent. It would, anyways.
Yeah, moving on before you dig yourself
I'm
a
waiting
deeper
for
hole.
evidence to prove me wrong before I
You've never seen them
concede.
in the same room, so there's not
Exactly.
they can't be the same person.
What Dorgon's saying. They've never been in the same room with a photograph together. Maybe he was just character role acting as CEO. What's a
You're going
Canada?
to get us cancelled.
LOL.
You are going to get us cancelled,
No,
mate.
look, I got a PlayStation shirt. Huh? I can't cancel that. Look at that.
It's not them coming for us. It's
Oh, right. Yeah, society. Sony has some leakers. No, they've beaten leakers to the punch and revealed their own PS Plus Extra. That's right, Extra and Premium November games. And that is Teardown, set to launch on the service day 1 on November 15th. So, pretty cool news. We haven't had a day and date last month, so it's kind of worrisome, but glad to see that the trend is starting to pick up. This one looks extremely entertaining and hilarious. Um, I'm excited for it. If you didn't know, Teardown, day and date on November
Jenga.
15th. And
Jenga,
to
but with
clarify,
vehicles and axes and such. I mean, come on. It's
yeah,
just destroy things for fun. It's great.
this is what I say about PlayStation. Now, I understand that I just feel like they do the more evolved ideas where Minecraft is just open, do whatever you want. They kind of took that Minecraft skin and they're like, let's blow up, destroy, action. So I look forward to it. It's not going to be the same, just open world. There are different stages and levels with trials and missions.
Yeah, they're
And it
very
has
puzzle
released.
based. You've got to figure
Yes.
out what's going on. This is a game that's been on PC for quite a few years at this point. I think
Yeah.
it's like a 2019 PC release. So it coming to consoles is great, and it coming day and date to PlayStation Plus Extra is also great. We do have
Oh,
Minecraft on
thanks for
PlayStation as well,
subscribing.
which is great. Oh, Sam, thank you for the sub. Really
Thank you.
appreciate that
Thank
one.
you. Woo.
Anytime you get to
Sub
play
dance.
games inclusive of a subscription fee, however good, bad, new, or old they are, just giving people the chance to experience something that they may not have experienced otherwise. Look how many people are playing Gotham Knights this month because it's on both PS Plus and Xbox Game Pass. That's amazing for Gotham Knights considering how much it got drubbed in the reviews. But because people get it inclusive of a subscription service, and as we know, to put a game on these subscription services, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. It's great for the developer. They can go make something else, hopefully, and innovate and improve on what they've done before. And we get to play stuff that we maybe didn't want to spend money on previously. It is a bit of a win-win, but we do have to be careful with these subscription services, especially these day and dates, that it doesn't undermine and harm the studios involved, because we want them to stick around and continue making games for us for years to come.
Ouch. And we got a story later that kind of says the opposite. But yeah, look out for it. Teardown, day and date, November 15th. But you know what is awesome? The
What's awesome,
PlayStation
Rubik's?
Portal has sold out in so many places. Now, this is what I'm saying is that people will buy these accessories because they love them. It's like if they release it, they will buy it. And it's sold out around the world, showing strong demand for a commercial success. I mean, people are going wild for this thing. And despite what critics said, despite it just being a remote device, people want it.
Just going to hold that up. There you go. Beautiful PlayStation backbone. They do want it, and I am guilty. I have pre-ordered one. I've purchased one. I've done it for the channel because my viewers want to see a review on it. They want to see someone who is a complete skeptic on it take it in hand and see how it feels. So I've got a layout of what I want to go over in a script for that one. So I'll let you know on here as well, thoughts on it once I've got it. But it's very popular in places like it first sold out in Japan and Korea. And having been to both, I can tell you it makes a lot of sense in places like that because space is of a premium. Tokyo City, for example, has 45 million residents. That's basically the population of Canada in one city. Slight exaggeration. I'm sorry, Rudigs, but you've got 45 million people in one city, and it's not a huge city, and they keep going up. and they keep going down, and their houses are incredibly small. Everything is about efficient living, and they love their games. They absolutely adore their games. But if you try and take a PlayStation and put it on the living room television, that's also the bedroom television. It's also the bathroom television. It's also the dining room television, because everything is so efficient, and basically you pull a bit of your room out of the wall when you need it in Japan. So places like that where they've got such huge confines on living space, and you don't want to be playing a game while somebody else wants to do something else with the TV and so on and so forth, a handheld item that you can just hand over to whoever wants to play is a brilliant idea. It makes a lot of sense in those scenarios. And it's a very similar thing in Korea. Korea have phenomenal internet wherever you go. They've got free gigabit broadband on the street, for Pete's sake. There's people in this chat who've only got fiber broadband
Wow.
this week. And
That-
it just makes sense there, because you can
What's
connect
up,
to internet wherever
Purple?
you are and basically use it as an on-the-go handheld console, no matter where you go, which is absolutely amazing. It's areas like this, like the UK, like Canada, like America, Australia, New Zealand, places where that infrastructure isn't, places where the only place this is going to make any form of sense is in a home that has gigabit broadband, which is about 30% of the households here in the UK. It's even less in Australia and New Zealand. It doesn't make sense in those scenarios. It doesn't make sense how it's going to work. This PlayStation Link proprietary audio technology, especially for those of us who've got Bluetooth devices or devices like this, the PlayStation Pulse 3D headset, which needs a dongle and it doesn't have a USB-A dongle port to plug this in. This is why it's not making a lot of sense to people in the Western market, because we've been given all of these other accessories for PlayStation that then won't work with the PlayStation Portal. But there is obviously a huge group of people worldwide, not just those in those micro living locations, that are getting something out of it. And I seem to see that the online discourses around parents and their kids a lot of the time. I'm not a parent. I don't have children. I've only got a couple of nephews who I only see around special times a year because of how far away they live and what have you. So I don't have that sort of mindset, that thought process. I'm talking as an individual grown ass adult. But when you listen to people in those scenarios, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm seeing it. It's starting to make a bit of sense. And I'm hoping it
Right.
works really well when I get my hands on it to justify this sellout.
I mean, if you only have one TV in the house and you have a whole family, and you're like, "Ugh, I can't play my PlayStation because mom's watching reality TV," this makes sense. Or if you want to sit on the couch and play something while somebody's watching, this makes sense. There's so many
Yeah.
situations where I think this makes sense, and that's where you're seeing the sellout, despite some initial criticism. So don't always believe what people are saying. And it's funny. I want to point out that I can't get rid of this Forza Motorsport Horizon advertisement over the PlayStation Portal, which is funny.
That's Look, this is the issue with running a news type podcast and pulling up news sites. We're gonna
Yeah.
get in-baked adverts. Forza is the big release of the week. I'll hold my hands up. It's a fantastic game. It does go toe to toe with Gran Turismo 7. There isn't one of them that I prefer, but I own Gran Turismo 7. So that one's easier to get a hold of and play at the moment. It's not a case of signing up to xCloud and hoping that xCloud works on that day.
Yeah, so that makes sense to me as well what Spaceman is saying. So they can't afford some places they don't even have the space like you were saying as well to
Yeah.
put these big huge TVs. So it only makes sense to, go portable. Yeah, there's a lot of use cases for it and I
Yeah.
think we'll see this new
Well,
revolution perhaps, other green people will copy and you'll have a
I hope
green
so, yeah.
handheld.
And I
So,
hope
I
that
think
green one comes with like a really good connection to the xCloud servers, because it'd make it so good. I wish we
yeah.
had that with what the portal's doing as well, just to give it that little bit
Yes.
extra.
That
But
cloud. Give us the cloud.
it's one of those. I'm gonna have a look at it. I'm gonna be owning it in a month's time. I will be bringing it on the show. I will be doing a full review on my channel. Both of us, our individual channels are linked in the description box below. If you haven't already subbed to us, that'd be lovely. Cheers, guys. So yeah, we'll get the lowdown on it come launch time. But yeah, it's been an unmitigated success for PlayStation, despite all of us naysayers.
Lo-fi what? Lo-Fi didn't have coffee this morning. What up, Lo-Fi?
I mean, he even
Thanks.
spelt it wrong.
Thanks. He probably spelt it wrong on purpose. Thanks for your interjection into the Discord, my good sir.
Well, welcome to the discourse. It's a bit weird, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna skip over that comment and get into a little bit of stuff I do not like to see.
Why are we
we
flip-flopping
are
between great and terrible news articles today? My
Yeah, that's
emotions
it.
are all over the show.
We give you highs and then we take you down. We bring you back up and we're going down. Now, The Last of Us, Naughty Dog is cutting staff as industry continues to cut back. This is not great news, and it's a trend. Is it related to AI? Is it related to the cost of games growing? Is it related to so many factors in the world like inflation? But 400 overalls, like, employees. I don't know. What is your thoughts on Naughty Dog cutting some of their staff?
So I've done a lot of research into Naughty Dog. I did a video last year in 2022 talking about the need for games to cost $70 when everybody was getting a bit up in arms about The Last of Us Part 1 costing $70. There are only 320 staff permanently employed at Naughty Dog. None of those 320 staff are affected by this round of layoffs. These layoffs are contractors. What Naughty Dog do is they have the core staff, which is broken into two teams. It used to be the Uncharted team and it used to be the Last of Us team. Obviously, Uncharted finished with Uncharted Lost Legacy in 2017. So they're doing something else. And then the Last of Us team finished work on The Last of Us Part 2 and then The Last of Us Part 1 re-release, remake in 2022. So what you've now got is a studio of the 320 core employees still there, still working, still full-time employed. What it takes to make those games, however, is according to Glassdoor, IGN, and Naughty Dog themselves, is around 2,147 people to make. That was how many people were involved with making The Last of Us Part 2. So over 2,000 people. When you consider that one of those teams,
game.
roughly 160 people, that's one of those teams at Naughty Dog. They are the core. They drive forward the making of the game. There's then like 2,000 other people involved in the making of it, and they are all contractors. So they will sign a contract for short-term work with Naughty Dog. It could be for a single piece of art that they are signing to a contract for. It could be for 3 years of motion capture development. It could be for 5 years of mechanics development, whatever the case may be. This is how much of this industry works, and the contractors tend to get a slightly better deal sometimes, but often cases they end up in situations like we're seeing here, where 400 of them can suddenly be told, dreadfully sorry, we don't need your services anymore. This will be your last week on the job. And it sucks. It absolutely royally sucks. But that is the same in any industry. Whether you're in building services, construction, engineering, you will take contractors on, and when you no longer need them, you will say the same thing to them of, I'm dreadfully sorry, your services are no longer required, but we've enjoyed working with you and we'll keep you in mind for if we need contractors in the future. That is the reality of being a contractor, unfortunately. The bad side of this is the way it was handled by Naughty Dog. Yes, they made 400 people redundant, I suppose you could say. They let go of 400 contractors. They didn't renew the contracts or terminated them early because the work isn't required anymore, whatever the case may be. And I don't know how Canadian contracts go. Here in the UK, you will have had built in prior to signing that contract, if there is an early departure, early severance, there will be severance pay from company who's hired the contractor to the contractor. That is how contract law works over here. I hope it's similar in Canada. I'm not 100% sure. You will probably know better in your line of work, Rudix. Do you get similar, like there'd be a severance pay for them?
For contractors, I think that's the benefit, that you would not have to do the severance, that they would just be contracted to the work that they so signed for. and that would negate any sort of severance or payout at the end.
Even if you
Unfortunately,
said early, like they were contracted for 3 months, but you ended it after two,
if
is that
there's a
still the same
breach of a
situation?
contract, then usually there would probably be some sort of clause, but it wouldn't be the same type of severance you'd obtain from a salary, in my
Right. Okay.
opinion. But
So
um,
that could be weighing on a lot of people that these guys have just been told, dreadfully sorry, your services aren't required, and they're literally out of employment. That they've got no income at that point in time. So that's very distressing for the 400 people affected. But it's also when they're telling everybody else who's working on whatever they're working on, whichever game, whichever development thing it is in house, don't talk about it, don't tell anybody about this. This is hush hush. And yet 400 people have just been made redundant. They're going to talk about it, aren't they? You've got to put something
yeah,
out
can't
there.
say be quiet.
You've got to say what's happening, why it's happening, and so on and so forth.
But it's not nearly like a drop in the bucket. Like we're talking 25 contractors from Naughty Dog. But Epic Games, creator of Fortnite, cut almost 900 staff, making major cutbacks across multiple studios. So, and we're seeing now the maker of Fortnite reporting low financial ratings of a game that used to be a money powerhouse, and we're seeing V-Bucks now being raised in price. I mean, it's tough when 900 people get fired across the board. I it sort of shadows what Naughty Dog did there. But we're seeing a trend here that some games are not hitting those financial bucks.
It's not even so much that. It's something I wish we'd had this show around in 2020 for you and I. We could hark back and have like a flashback to when Doragon said X, Y, Z, because it happens regularly. Look at the death of Luna's Stadia and so on and so forth. I am the prophet of doom. But I said it about the industry as a whole when they went on this mass hiring spree during the pandemic. They realized loads of people want to play games, but loads of people had time to play games because they're not commuting an hour to and from work every day. They're not absolutely shattered by the time they finish their day job. They've got their whole family around them at all times because they're all at home anyway. So you finish work and you go for a round on Fortnite or you go for a round on Call of Duty, you run a Destiny raid, whatever the case may be. It's a family gathering, a family event sort of thing. But it was very precise, very specific circumstances that created that boom in 2020. And I understand they needed to hire a bunch of people to keep things up and running, a bunch more than they had because this boom was massive. It was unprecedented. It was not in anybody's wildest imaginations. But we are now 2 years, 3 years past that boom. And what we are seeing is everything returned to what it was pre that boom. The investments are lower than they were before that boom because we've had so many failures. The likes of Redfall, the likes of Gotham Knights, the likes of Gollum and Co. have come out and been commercially terrible because they weren't good games. People were just pumping money and put something out the door, make me money. They weren't caring about what they were making. We are seeing people who were hired for very specific roles during the pandemic being unhired. Like, yeah, your job's not required anymore. We're not in that situation. And then we are also seeing that because all of this is happening simultaneously and companies want to make this more money every single year, which is a completely unrealistic want because there's a finite amount of money in the world. And if you've already got it all, you're not going to get any more off your customers, sort of thing. They're saying, well, we can cut money, we can cut costs dead easy by getting rid of X, Y, and Z employees. It sucks, but it's something that anybody half a step away and with half a brain cell could see coming from a million miles off, unfortunately.
That is unfortunate, and it seems like it's just the way that the industry goes with highs and lows, just like this show. But let's talk about one specific layoff or departure from Naughty Dog, which seems to signal the end to a possibly anticipated game that we've heard a lot of. It's coming, it's not coming. Destiny 2 exec stopped it. we're putting a pause. We should have heard it about State of Play, and that is Last of Us Part 2. And after 10 months of work, chief monetization designer has left. So you touched on this as well. It's unfortunate, but it shows and it fuels rumors that perhaps this game is at a complete stall.
That is possible, but can I just say, this is one job title I am very glad
Oh,
to see
Ron
disappear.
Slusher! I want to say what up to Ron Slusher. Hashtag make plays.
Yeah, this is one job title that definitely needed to go. This is one job that should never existed in the first place. We should not have a position in a company called Chief Monetization Officer. That person, that job, that role, it is the scum of the
CMD.
earth. Get it gone. I am happy this no longer exists. Like, monetization of games
Yeah.
has gone to the absolute extreme, to the point it is ruining the experience itself of just playing a video game. So yeah,
Well said.
get gone. I am not sorry to see the back of you.
Well said. But I mean, unfortunately, like you said, these investors, the people who are putting money into games, want to see more money the next year. And what's the way to do that? Throw monetization. I think it's best done with like expansive seasons that give you great content. But people want those monetizations, those skins to
I think the
increase.
half sequels, the things like Spider-Man Miles Morales, the things like Uncharted Lost Legacy, these like half sequel games, which are a good game in and of themselves. You've got like 8 to 15 hours of playtime in them. They tell their own fantastical, unique story. They come with their own platinum trophies. You can only get a platinum trophy if you are a full game. It's These are the answer. You can release them much quicker than you can a full sequel. They fill in the gaps between full sequels. And for a lot of people, like, they have been some of the better experiences of the past 5 to 10 years. A half sequel of God of War Ragnarok would be amazing. See what Atreus is doing after the end of that game. See what um, Kratos is doing after the end of that game. Tell different stories in the same universe. Half sequels of the Assassin's Creed franchise could tell some amazing stories. Maybe not in the hands of Ubisoft, as we've seen with Mirage, but we'll put that to the side. Half
Yes,
sequels of
Dorgon's
Halo would be
touching
stupendous.
on the next article saying half sequels like Uncharted Lost Legacy are the future. Now, I
100%.
will say, if you are going to do a half sequel, don't charge full price for it. Is that fair? Like Miles Morales was a full price game and we're calling it a half sequel now.
You see, Miles Morales for me was a full release because of what it was, how much different it was to the original. There was obviously a full development cycle that had gone into this title. It just didn't need to be as long as its predecessor, which I thought was a really good thing, actually. It gave me a much more rewarding experience. Things like Uncharted Lost Legacy started off as DLC for Uncharted 4, but they got so big they spun out into their own game. That's exactly what happened with Assassin's Creed Mirage. That was DLC for Valhalla, and it got so big it got spun out into its own game. It's how Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came around way back in 2010. That was meant to be DLC for AC2 and ended up being its own game and the best in the series. So there is a place for these things, these ideas that start small and grow a little bit bigger. They outgrow their DLC add-on type space and grow into a half sequel. I think maybe setting out to make a half sequel is a different idea. I think you'd have to really balance things, but they shouldn't be the full $70 per se because they take less time to make, so therefore they cost less money to make. But I would be happy paying, rather than the 65 to £70 mark as I currently pay for full AAA releases. I'd happily pay £50 to 55, £60 for one of these real quality half sequels. My time and money, to me, is about the quality of the experience I have, not the quantity. I don't want 300-hour epics that are just bloatware. I don't want that. I don't want to be ticking off every question mark on the map because game said so. I want it to feel real. And I get that with these half sequels. Lost Legacy is probably one of the best Uncharted games going. It's definitely top three. I think Miles Morales is one of the best games of this generation so far. I love this design aspect. I love how I feel rewarded for the little time I put in, and I can still challenge myself if needs be by just cranking that difficulty. I think it's very dependent on the person. I'm very happy to spend that much money on it because I get more value out of that than say 6 months of PS Plus or 6 months of Game Pass or something.
I I 100% agree. I think the half sequels deliver great experiences. I want to address the chat. So
It's going mad,
this
this chat.
this is a posture corrector. Sorry, I haven't been able to get to everybody. Want to thank everyone for coming out. Geek to Sneak, whale, boom, 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 coming in with a bang. So this is a posture corrector. About a year ago, I got hit with like a 10-foot wave in Puerto Rico, and it dislocated my shoulders, tore my supraspinatus. Very similar injury to Cowboy, and his shoulder situation. However, the tears were a bit smaller, so I didn't have to get surgery. But I do wear this corrector to just keep my shoulders back, especially when I'm sitting up for a while. So, yeah, it looks like a gun holster, but it also holds the shoulders back from
It's just
a
you're
hyper
just cosplaying Nathan Drake, aren't
rotation.
you? That's what you're doing here. You put the gun holster on, your PlayStation
I'm
shirt, you're
Canadian.
cosplaying Nathan Drake.
I've never used or operated or touched a gun before. I'm a Canadian, okay?
I've used an air rifle. Does that count? Or a paintball gun? Does that count? I used
Yeah,
to be a
I
paintball
mean, I've
marshal.
done those things, yeah. But
Yeah, not an actual firearm, no, because
don't
they're
forget to
illegal here in the
hydrate.
UK.
So, back to half sequels, Miles Morales definitely delivered a more memorable, enjoyable experience to me, even more so than the original Spider Man. Miles Morales sticks out more in my head as an enjoyable time, perhaps even because it was shorter. I would love to see them take advantage of their huge games they created and come out with an offshoot, Horizon Forbidden West. Now the
Tell a
freaking
side
DLC.
character story. Like some of these
Yeah.
side characters, they're amazing, but you don't get to experience much of them, and you want to. That's what I really liked about both Miles Morales and Lost Legacy. Lost Legacy was Chloe. Like Chloe's a phenomenal character and voiced by one of my favorite actresses, Claudia Black. Like this amazing Australian science fiction fantasy goddess sort of thing. To have her in the lead role of it, that was an automatic buy for me. Like that character is phenomenal, and you need to see more of these characters. Like I said, follow Atreus with a half sequel of God of War. He's his own character.
Yes.
He's got his own set of mechanics and such. Let's follow him. Let's see what he's doing. I think that'd be amazing. Like you say, any of the massive cast of Forbidden West, let's follow them. See what's going on there. Bring us another half sequel of Uncharted. Show us what Sully's up to nowadays. Like, there's so many options in the PlayStation Studios umbrella. And going beyond that, the third parties as well. Everybody's complaining that it takes 7 to 10 years to make a game. Make them smaller. Believe you me, as
Yep.
grown ass adults, we want smaller games.
Like I said, Miles Morales sticks out more in my head than the original Spider-Man. So
Yeah,
it's about delivering those hard-hitting experiences and not taking forever to get through them. So I completely agree. I want to see more. Burning Shores was an amazing DLC.
oh,
I
that
think they
felt
just
like a
need to
half spin
take
off.
advantage of what they've already created and just give us more in an enclosed story. So I like the idea. I like that it fast tracks games. We're not waiting 7, 10 years, as this article
Yeah,
is saying, for a new game. Um, like Phantom Liberty. I have played through Phantom Liberty. It is an amazing DLC. It encapsulates an entire game. You don't have to play any of the Cyberpunk main story. It's just its own thing, and it's really amazing. You're in this action movie with
yeah,
all of these
yeah.
characters. Spy James Bond meets Mission Impossible, meets Blade Runner, and I enjoyed every moment of it. So I understand that this only took a couple of years. It definitely took less than Cyberpunk took to develop, and you're getting an experience to me that hit harder than the main story again. So it's
Yeah,
kind of amazing how they do that.
it's. I feel like both of those, Horizon Forbidden Shores and Phantom Liberty.
Uh-oh. Dorgon. Did we lose you? Dorgon. Uh-oh. Yes, we did lose Dorgon here. Well, I'm sure he will be coming
Oh
back.
God, what's going
He's
on?
back. He's back.
Hey, I'm
Microphone
back.
check on Dorgon? Yes, he is 100% back. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Stupid interwebs. Every
A little
time,
hiccup.
at least
Eh,
once per show.
Yeah. It may be the hour mark, and I can't believe it's the hour mark because I feel like we haven't got through any of the show notes.
It's mad. Like when you've got content like this, when we're talking about like a new PlayStation model, when we're talking about the industry as a whole, half sequels and such, there's a lot to say on many of these things. And if we sometimes that happens too, and no English actually comes out. But yeah, sometimes you just run on a bit, and if you limit yourself to an hour, you can suffer a little bit or get there very quickly.
So let's try to get through some of the headings on the title that the video is named after. What is PlayStation Link? People must be
Yes.
wondering what's going on here because with PlayStation Link, you are getting a direct connection from your PlayStation to your audio device. And if I'm not mistaken, they are going to do PlayStation Link for the PlayStation Portal.
Yeah, so PlayStation Link, which has been slightly miscategorized by a lot of people. There's a lot of misinformation out there about it, with people either not understanding or guessing and saying things as fact up to this point. So what it is, or what it looks like it's going to be, as best we can tell, because of how things are going to be shipping, and from what people who've gone hands-on with the service say, is that PlayStation Link is a proprietary version of Wi-Fi direct connection. For anybody who doesn't know what Wi-Fi direct connection is, I have the PlayStation 3D Pulse headset here. This I got on launch with the PS5. And the way that this thing works, whether I plug it into my PlayStation, whether I plug it into my tablet or my phone or any other device that it can plug into, it works by using this dongle. What this dongle does is create its own network. And I believe this one does it on like a 1.5 gigahertz Wi-Fi network that it creates. I might be wrong with that, don't quote me, but that's what I believe from what I've been able to find. And because it creates its own network in a certain area, this will connect to this better than a Bluetooth headset or even a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack plugged into a DualSense controller. PlayStation Link appears to be the same sort of design concept, because they're all going to be coming with this PlayStation dongle that will have to go into your PlayStation 5 console if you want to use PlayStation Link headsets. But it looks like it's going to be using a 2.4 gigahertz frequency rather than the 1.5 that I think is on this one. So because it's a slightly higher level frequency, anybody who uses the internet knows the higher that frequency, the faster your speeds, but of course, the more things that can interrupt it. 2.4 for audio is kind of that sweet spot where it connects directly, gives you a 10 to 12 meter range, and you've got brilliant personal connection because there's nobody else on that created network in that area. The PlayStation Portal, you are quite right in saying, comes with this built in. I would be surprised if the new model of the PlayStation 5 doesn't come with this built in. But for everybody else on every other platform, they're going to need to plug the dongle in. But thankfully, the dongle does come with either the Explore or Elite headset. So that's what PlayStation Link is. It's nothing to do with the way that the Portal connects to the PlayStation for remote play. It's nothing to do with optimization of Wi-Fi or what have you. It is simply a Wi-Fi direct audio codec. That's all PlayStation Link is. It's a
Right.
great thing. Do not get me wrong, but there's two headsets in the world that use it right now, and they're not even on the market. They're not even purchasable.
What's going on? Ashes to Ashes. Thanks for coming by the show. And yes, I want to get those Sony earbuds too. Is it Prime? Is it Prime deal?
It's Prime deals, but they are
It's
not even up
Prime
for
deals?
pre-order, so you ain't getting them unless you're getting like the
Yeah, because I
XM5s,
haven't seen
Bluetooth
them.
ones. Yeah.
I haven't seen them up. And shout out to Miss Phoenix. Okay, we have days coming. We have days coming to 19 inches of Venom. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. It is coming. What? We got 9 days. 9 days.
9 days. I get that beautiful collector's edition through the door with the 19 inches of Venom. Bring it on. Like, I can't. I measured it out the other day because, like, I don't work in inches. The rest of the world outside of North America doesn't work in feet and inches. We work in centimeters, millimeters, meters, and such. So I measured it out the other day. 19 inches is half a meter. It's 50 centimeters. Where the
Wow,
hell am I
yeah.
putting this thing?
Yeah, that is huge. That is huge.
It's a monster.
That's almost 2 yellow rulers.
It is almost 2 yellow rulers, yes.
But yeah, I just wanted to go over that. We're getting this coming soon. I'm sure everybody is who has a PlayStation.
I'm
Scott,
not looking
I look
forward to my
forward.
fiance's face when that comes through the door. It's like, what have you done?
Uh, my predictions, do you think we'll hit 10 million in the first week?
Distinctly possible. This was the most popular franchise on the PlayStation 4. It beat out God of War 2018. It beat out The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Zero Dawn, all of these amazing franchises that were on the PlayStation 4. This beat them all out, outsold them, and quicker as well. We do
Yeah.
now have God of War Ragnarok topping that pile as the biggest selling, fastest selling PlayStation console exclusive. So it's got its work cut out because that thing hit 10 million in under a week. I imagine from the hype that's now building on this, and it's the fact that it's the only first party exclusive that we are getting on the console this year, there is a distinct possibility it's easily going to smash that record.
Wow. Well, I hope so. I hope all the success for Insomniac. I'm sure they put a lot of work into this, and I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Let's move on. We got some stuff I want to get to before we end the show here. Sony's high bitrate movie service is now available on PS5 and PS4. Okay, this is a huge story. This could have been a show on its own. What the heck? I open up my PS5 and I realize I have
Yep.
access to essentially a Netflix made by Sony. You can rent or buy 2,000 movies, but they also include a curated set of, I believe it's 100 movies that
It's
you have
around about the
access
100
to
mark.
with PS Plus.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Spanning Spider-Man Homecoming was on there. The Venom movie getting you all pumped up. So many things hilarious. Adam Sandler movies were on there. They have a massive catalog of just great films. I was extremely I feel like the value you just got on your PS Plus membership just started to inch up a little bit more with the streaming service.
I will say the inclusive titles are, they vary from amazing things that I really like. Things like Easy A is one of my all-time comfy movies. It's one that I go to and watch when I just need a pick-me-up sort of thing. So that being on there and in phenomenal, I think this is the one thing that most people aren't quite understanding: the quality, the picture quality, even at like 1080p, because that's all Easy A renders at. It's other level. It's unlike any other streaming service out there, and it makes me want to hire or purchase movies on the platform because of how much better they look and sound. It's almost like sticking an ultra HD Blu-ray into the Blu-ray drive on the PlayStation. That's what watching a movie on this service is like. When you get a 4K movie, stand back from your 4K TV because my days, it is crisp. It is the best. I don't have words for it. It's the best movie experience I've had. The best quality in terms of picture, in terms of sound, in terms of ease of access and use. And that's just on the included with PlayStation Plus stuff. That's not even hiring or renting anything or buying anything yet. There are movies on there that I do want to buy. I want to get a full 4K copy of all the Spider-Verse movies. So Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse at the moment, because I think they're going to be amazing. But it's one of those. The movies in the included selection range from amazing to terrible, as on every platform. There's probably going to be 5 or 6 that people really want to watch in this amazing, crisp quality. They are quite a bit older as well, so prepare yourselves for that one. You're not getting Spider-Man Far From Home in 4K quality, inclusive of your PlayStation Plus, just to put a bit of expectation on that one. But yeah, it's an amazing service in terms of quality. It's a nice additional thing, and if rumors are true that they're going to continue adding more video content, like with Crunchyroll, for example, which I pay
Yeah, I was
for
just about
anyway.
to say,
Yeah,
Crunchyroll, and I just looked up the article, is said to be coming to the core.
yeah, I would
That's
happily have Crunchyroll on core. I love Crunchyroll. I love that it's got One Piece on there now. I am the best Zorro in the world finalist at the 2019 Cosplay King Grand Prix. Just putting that out there, bit of pride, bit of ego as well. Let's just say. I love that's on there. I love that I can access things like Fairy Tale and Cowboy Bebop and The Devil's a Part Timer and all these amazing shows. My Hero Academia every year, Attack on Titan. There's a bunch of amazing shows on there. Anyway, Crunchyroll's current quality is high. If it comes through core, it's got to be other level. I'm really looking forward to getting
really
more if
cool.
these rumors are true.
Interesting. Ashes to Ashes saying that they have a monopoly in the anime streaming.
Yes.
Pretty
Yeah. It's a bit
interesting.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Sony bought out Funimation many moons ago. Funimation are an American company. They do English dubs for the majority of anime. They're not the only ones who
Genius
do it,
move.
but they do the majority of the English dubs. So they bought Funimation, and I've had the Funimation subscription in the past. I didn't like it as much as Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll's a more intuitive application. But Crunchyroll for years was independent. I remember meeting the CEO at an MCM Comic Con here in the UK around 2014. Lovely bloke, just wanted to bring anime to the world. And at some point, Sony came in and said, what if we give you some ridiculous million to go off and retire? And let's be honest, if anybody came to me and said, what if I gave you some ridiculous millions to go off and retire? I'd do it too. So yeah, he sold off to Sony, and it does unfortunately mean that right now, like the English language and origin language for most of these shows are owned by Sony, especially on the streaming side of things. But there are competitors out there that are quite good, and we need to make sure that we are spreading our love around so that we keep competition in this space. Because unfortunately, people like the CMA who are doing a bang up job with things like the Activision Blizzard deal and the Vodafone 3 merger here in the UK. They've got both of those under scrutiny at the moment, along with cloud gaming and cloud computing in general. They've got everybody under the thumb. Um, they're still a bit blind when it comes to anime. They're like, oh, it's just a kid show, it doesn't matter, and it
Right. It
matters.
is huge. It is huge.
Yeah.
Um, but there we have it. Sony adding more to PS Plus membership in the forms of different forms of entertainment. So look out for that. And as Ashes to Ashes say, boot it up, give it a shot, turn on a Spider-Man, watch Venom before it comes out.
Yeah, you got a
It's
week to
fun.
Spidey yourself out.
There's been some leaks. Yes, we have leaks. Exclusive PS Plus catalog has been leaked. We are getting Gotham Knights, which is a big thumbs up. It's a AAA DC game.
It's okay. It's a perfectly
It
serviceable game.
mirrors sort of the Marvel Avengers that we no longer have, but it's cool. Good to see. Love to see the big games come onto the subscription services. We have a classic like Dead Island Definitive Edition, and if you're looking to get scared on that Halloween vibe, there's Disco Elysium as well as Alien Isolation, and the Dark Pictures analogy, House of the Ashes. So maybe that's for Ashes to Ashes. But
House of
check it out.
it's the Dark Pictures are great games. We tend to get one every Halloween. It's like 2 or 3 years after it's launched, which is amazing. It's spooky month. There's a lot of spooky games on there.
Spooky month, yes.
Yeah, the only one that doesn't quite fit the whole spoopy thing is Gotham Knights. It's a bit too Adam West on occasions to be properly spoopy. But I kind of like the Adam Westness of it. Well, I'm not gonna lie. That there's some really good story moments in Gotham Knights. I would highly recommend people play it if you've got either of the subscription services from the two big guys. Whether you've got PlayStation Plus or Game Pass, it's on both at the moment. Give it a go. Like if you're subscribed to one of those, give the game a go. There is fun to be found in it.
All right. Okay, Purple. I've never heard of this game. That's why I skipped over it. Yes, you got me. So far, Changing Tides lacks what has made its predecessors truly lovely road trip. So it looks to be a puzzle game where you're on a sort of makeshift ship. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my words
Try
here.
again. Go for it.
It's an atmospheric vehicle adventure that flows the emotional journey of a boy and his ship as he embarks on a voyage to find a new home, sail stormy waters, dive into unknown depths, and explore the forgotten ruins in a beautiful, realized, flooded world. Ah, so it's like Waterworld, the movie.
I love puzzle games. Like one of my favorite games of 2020 was Maquette. We got given that day and date on PlayStation Plus. I absolutely loved messing with the size of things in between different worlds and such. Like that was an amazing puzzle game. Thoroughly enjoyed the story. Enjoy is maybe the wrong word for that story. It is a good story though. Humanity earlier this year,
Oh,
fantastic
Humanity, I had a
puzzle
lot of
game.
fun with. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
thoroughly
mean, the
enjoyed that.
dogs, ridiculous.
What was the photo
Concept.
one that we got like 2 months ago? I can't remember the name
Yeah.
of it, but you've got to take a photo, place that somewhere in the world. It becomes a 3D scape that you can then walk across and something. Like that was fun. I wish I could remember the name of it. I'm so sorry that I can't. And then this one, Lone Sales was one of them way back. This one's Changing Tides, is it? Did we say?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
give me puzzle games.
Changing Tides.
I enjoy puzzle games. Like they annoy my fiance to all hell. She gets very annoyed at them and throws things at me. Uh, Generally, so I make her a cup of tea to calm her down at that point. But yeah, I love puzzle games, and having another one available is great. Bring it.
Awesome. Let's go over a release on the PS5 you can look out for, and that is Honkai Star Rail version 1.4 brings the space fantasy RPG to PS5 on October 10th. So, if you're a big fan of the series, this comes from the Genshin Impact universe, and we have a release on October 10th. And not only that, it's free. It's free 99. So great price.
$3.99.
Check it out if you're a fan of the universe. This is a great time to jump into a brand new adventure and play with all your anime characters and fun. And I believe this is more of a turn-based action game. However, I'm not
More of an auto battler. So
auto
Wibble
battler.
Sniff, yeah, Wibble Sniff
That's a new
from the Nerd
genre.
Migos plays it. Essentially, you set up your team, you put all the right equipment on them, and then when you go into battle, your characters do it for you based on their stats. So their speed stat, their strength stat, what their supers and specials are, how quickly they recharge, and what have you. They will fight for you as soon as these cooldowns sort out. It's a very interesting way of doing the gacha game. I quite like it. It's one of those games that you can play on the side while doing something else, if that makes sense. It's quite a nice title in that regard, but it's not going to be for everybody, especially with the sort of freemium type gameplay of it. It's going to ask you to drop money on it very quickly, but you
Yeah.
can go a long way for free. In fact, you can go all the way for free.
Cool. I wanted to bring up this game because it's freaking cool looking. Let's check it out. You have to get this game on VR, right? This has got to be on your list.
No.
This game is not on your list?
I like my lunch in my belly, not on the floor.
Oh my gosh, when I saw the trailer to this, I'm like,
speed.
The cool factor. You're just
that's just
blowing up
at
ships.
It now. That's
brand new missions for PSVR. It may be a little. I could see why it'd be sickness inducing, but it looks freaking cool. You're piloting a fighter jet in VR. I think they're bringing a novel experience to the helmet. Hey, I'd be all for this one. It seems like you could honestly just sit down in your chair and play it.
You can sit
Uh,
and play, yeah, which is great.
it's not going to be a
It looks
broken
like an
edge
amazing game.
situation.
No, it's not going to be a broken edge situation. I love the fact that, similar to the one we spoke about last week, it's both console and VR. So you can buy it for the
Right.
console now, play it with your
Eh,
controller, and then if you get the VR headset further down the line, it brings a new level of experience to the game. It gives it additional life.
Yeah.
What I don't love is my travel sickness, my equilibrium, and I know I could not play that. Um, a racing game I can get by with because it feels very similar, and as long as you've got a fan on your face, you can generally cope with a racing game. But this, the speeds and the turns, I don't think my stomach would be able to take that one.
I can understand that. It could be a little bit sickness inducing and but it looks so cool.
It looks so
It
sick. It
looks like
really does, but it would
they
also.
took cool things and they put it into a game, and that's what I'd like to see. Um, awesome, awesome combat and Project Wingman. Check it out. It released on October 3rd,
So Purple
and
is saying the flight sim community aren't necessarily thrilled with the game. This
with
isn't
this
a
one,
flight simulator.
yeah,
It's just VR experience and game. It's a
yeah,
game. It's
this
not
is
a
not.
simulator. Shut up, simulator people. That's the amount of people saying, "Oh, you can't like this racing game because it's not a sim like X racing." Get over yourself. Like, let people enjoy what they want to enjoy on their console.
Yeah, this is Project Wingman, and it seems to be more based along the lines of being a fighter jet pilot, not
Yeah.
simulating flying. So I could see if they wanted to create a flight sim, I think they'd have to step over Microsoft's toes.
Yeah,
Um,
ashes to ashes. I'm right there with you. If they want the simulator, just go play Flight
go play
Simulator.
Yeah, they
This
have it there.
this is flyy flyy shooty shooty. This is what this game is.
Yeah. Let's jump into. Oh my gosh, I'm going so late. Okay, I wanted to talk about this game because it looks really cool. Lords of the Fallen. Why play it on PS5? They go over the SSD, creating seamless transition between both worlds. They talk about the triggers being extra haptic for your heavy attacks, not being able to fully press down the trigger until it's charged up. The vibrations of moving, it gives you that immerse experience. And not to mention, they talk about how cool the sound is and how noises come from your controller when you use the lamp. So
Yeah,
yeah, Lords of the
it's
Fallen.
using the dual sense brilliantly by the sounds of things. It's gone very much the Returnal route, which I think is the most intuitive way to use the dual sense still 2 years after it launched. I'm liking the sounds of it. It's not necessarily my sort of game, but if I can get a physical copy off a friend or something, I'll definitely give it a go.
DualSense Edge. Oh, I love this thing. Yes, the hand massager, best way to play.
The hand massager.
It eats the battery though. Eats the
It
battery.
does, it does. Consider
All
yourself
right.
signed up ashes to ashes, but yeah, I'm with you. My VR legs would not survive that one. I'm fine with most other things, but that one I just no. But yeah, we're signing you up for flyy flyy shooty shooty.
All right. Well, I think that is a good time. Oh, is it a good time? I mean, this game looks so adorable. I want to talk about with the
Talk
little
about it. Where else
gecko.
do we have to be today? It's the end
The
of my
gecko
day.
gods. Look how cute this game is. You're the like this little gecko and you're just doing all this puzzles. It reminds me of the game where you were like a secret agent gecko. You know what? I
Gex,
know you know what I'm talking about because I've
Gex
seen you
3D,
post.
Enter the Gecko, one of my
Yes.
favorite PlayStation 1 titles. Yes, I know
Yeah.
Gex. And
This
Gex is getting a remaster this year, a remake re-release at some point. I am in on that. You will lose me for what probably takes 6 hours beat those games
I
now with
remember
how good
playing
I
that game.
am.
I remember playing it. A very cool. Like when I was younger, it was amazing to have that open world experience. This is adorable, right? I mean, you're a little
Yeah,
gecko
it
and
does.
you're solving puzzles.
This is what
I
certain games this year should have been. Cough, cough, Gollum, cough, cough. this is the sort of thing that it should have been. Solve puzzles, get through, be unseen. The little gecko got it right.
Very cool. Little Gecko Big Quest coming to PlayStation next year. Gecko Gods. Very cute, adorable game. And PlayStation exclusive features, which is the haptic feedback and the 3D audio. Very cool. Very cool. It was part of the Indie Day announcements. And
Indeed,
then
yes.
Karmazoo. Karmazoo. Why did I put this one in here?
I don't know. This was one that you put in the show notes, mate. This is all on you.
Right, because this is Digital Devolver. And I love Digital Devolver. I always feel like, yes, Digital Devolver. I feel like they always make like amazing experiences.
I love how you always say Devolver as well. Is that like a conscious thing, or
What are they actually called?
I'm not sure.
Devolver.
I just
Devolver. What is right?
is it Devolver?
Devolver Digital. Oh, maybe it's a different people. Well, anyways.
That's why it sounds weird. You say it the wrong way around. Yeah, that's why it sounds weird.
I have a
knew it
tendency
sounded
to do
weird.
that. I have a tendency to mix up the words of the way things should actually be. I have my own nomenclature.
You've
It's
got
a
your own weird
Rudigsism.
Rudix language, yeah. It's cool. It's fine. We're learning here. Like your co-host is learning, your viewers are learning. We're getting the Rudigsisms.
It's
That's
an
hard to
adorable
say.
little game. Co-op, which is always a great experience.
Oh, yes. We love co-op.
And you see that? You're going through these pixelated worlds, collecting stuff. It looks like good fun and entertainment. Party game reminds me of just, having fun. That Super Mario style of like jumping, platforming. A lot of good vibes here. I think it'd be a lot of fun with a party. And that's why I picked this game, because I really liked how fun this looked to play with a group of people.
I love anything co-op, especially after taking on It Takes Two last month with the fiance. That was a fantastic experience. It really was. Thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. Probably helped by my Spider-Man 2 DualSense controller. That just felt amazing in the hand.
It wasn't sticky.
It wasn't sticky, no, which is a really good thing. It was just a joy of a game. That co-op experience, playing together with people that you love. It's so warming, and there's been an absolute dearth of content like that. There's been a few online ones, but not a lot you could play sofa co-op. So having that in PS Plus was fantastic, and then getting other titles releasing that have it included is just it's so nice to see, because we want and need more games like it.
What's up, David Wilson? Thanks for stopping on by. This is I liked the idea of this game because it's based off of a real place. The Salt Sea Chronicles is based off of the real world Salt Sea Islands in the archipelago. I think I may be getting that wrong. But
Archipelago.
This game is not centered around a singular person. It's based around a community of people interacting, exploring, finding things together. You're managing all of the people in your community, and they're all working together. Some situations are funny, some are serious. I found it to be, approaching games differently, and that's what I like to see. Sometimes you need that cleanser after beating Eliza P. That's just floating and gardening. So pretty cool. I like the community aspect. It kind of reminds me of how we hang out in Discord, and what problems we'd come across if we all got in a ship and explored the acapellas. So check out the Salt Sea. I do it automatically. Sea Salt. No, it's called Salt Sea.
You just want some nice
Chronicles.
sea salted crisps. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah, it looks like a lovely game. I love the art style of it. Like, anything that has got a bit of a unique art style, you're automatically going to get my attention, because everything else looks so similar. Like, it's all photorealism, and having something like
Right.
this, which is bright, pastel colored, cartoony, you're like, ooh, hello.
Well, I think that's all I had to say. I like that this game is based off of real place. And if you have anything to say before the show wraps up, any articles you wanted to cover that we didn't get to, I know we've run long here.
We've covered a lot. We've run long. I think we've got everything that needs to be said this week. Obviously, if you
Nice.
haven't done so already, like, sub, if you're watching on demand, comment as well, please. Share it with your friends. That share button does a lot of work for helping us out.
Well said.
Otherwise, I think we've covered it all.
Awesome. Are you up to anything this week? How's your elbow? Hopefully, coming out with some stuff, or
It's
perhaps.
useless. Yeah, it's a bit useless. I do have my review of the VR cover PSVR 2 head strap and cover set out at the moment. So if you guys want to hop over to my channel and give that a watch, I would be most appreciative. Just seeing what these accessories can do for the headset, considering it's an open halo design. Otherwise, I'm trying to work on things, but I'm a week out from Spider-Man 2, so that might take over. We will see how things go. I'm one man, I've got a full-time job, and I do this every week, and I need to sleep at some point, dude.
Yes. Well, we'll be back at our regular time next week. Catch us Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and you can catch me on my channel, Rudiggz, Rudiggz, on YouTube, X, and Threads. All right. Until next time, be kind and bring peace into the world.
Take care, guys.
Grove. 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 Why try to believe in me? Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me who finds hype super decently smooth. Nice tide, but as sick as me.